say definitively that religions are all bullshit.
Welcome to Brainstorm.
We have the explicit tag for a reason.
This is a base level argument to a higher level morality.
I get paid to science?
Two science as much as one can science.
What the hell was my point?
Trigger warning. The Brainstorm podcast will criticize your most cherished beliefs. We attack nonsense in all its forms and discuss difficult subjects. If you peddle pseudoscience, supernatural woo, or religious dogma, then this is not your safe place. This is the home of hardcore skepticism.
To those listening live or to our patrons, welcome back. For those listening weekly, welcome to the Shift to Reason Radio, the Brainstorm production that tries to educate and inform. We'll take current events and important skeptical topics and try to analyze them critically. Remember, we're live on Spreaker.com every second Friday, and today is August 4th, 2017. I'm still joined by Angela.
Hello.
Renee.
Hello.
And the amazing Dave on Sound.
Yeah.
With our guest host, Chris Watson.
Rene. Really? Rene? That's your name?
Yes.
Yes. It's the name.
What's wrong with that?
Your damn Frenchies. God. No, I'm just
You dirty white man.
I've been getting that all my life.
Yeah.
Should just change it to Ryan.
That, and, you know, that's a girl's name. Fuck off.
Yeah, shit.
which is why I said it, you know,
Yeah.
playing right into it.
Hell, like I've said before, I had Lisa one night tell me how, white-splaining how I'm saying my name incorrectly, so.
Yeah. She was Anglo-splaining your French name.
She was Anglo-splaining my French name.
Anglo-splaining.
Oh, shit.
I was going to try to find the clip and say, you know, here's Lisa in Italy, that clip of Sideshow Bob. In the Italian village. No. You're not saying that correctly. No. Roll your R's. Buongiorno.
Get out of my country, white. Oh, shit.
It's friggin' awesome. Love it.
All right. Before we get into our woo report and our regular segments, let's talk about something that Chris and I have been dealing with on our Facebook pages lately. There's an article that came out recently about should a trans person have to tell you that they're trans before they date you? So what do you think, Chris?
I'm pretty sure you already know my stance on this issue. If you've been paying any attention to my feed, got some shit about it. I posted initially the article, and quickly was filled by heterosexual people who seem to be horrified by the prospect of, you know, being tricked into, you know, somebody being having different genitalia than they thought they were going to have. Horrified at it, you know. I mean, not taking into account that trans people are more likely to be murdered by several times than the general population because of something like this.
Yeah, it seems to have been, I don't know, the whole thing has kind of been taken in this very personal way. Like, it's very much like everybody's thinking that they're being attacked or tricked by trans women. And it's just, the numbers don't show that has happened. Like, it's almost entirely about men who seem to track down trans women or try to chase trans women more. This particular article talks about Jennifer Laud, a 26-year-old Filipino woman who was murdered after having sex with a U.S. Marine. And the Marine, Joseph Scott Pemberton, strangled her until she was unconscious and then proceeded to drown her in a toilet bowl after apparently reacting to the fact that she was trans and he supposedly did not know this. And apparently, like, online, there's been a whole bunch of people who say that she deserved it, or that this is to be expected if you trick people and things like that. And Chris, you had some conversations with some trans people on your Facebook page. What were some of their takes on it?
Okay, so I did a post where I just asked trans people to express their particular responses to this, because I had not seen that. I had seen a bunch of cis people throwing a fit about, oh my God, we were tricked. So I was like, I'm not hearing much about from trans people. So I'm going to read a couple of comments here. I think this is a contentious issue within our community as well. Personally, I feel the answer is no. Reducing anyone down to their genitals is bullshit. Even if you are not attracted to certain parts, there are like a million ways to have sex. And if you're a cis male who is with a trans female, it totes doesn't make you gay. She's still a woman. Let's see. For me, it's never a question, because I know if I don't, my life could be in danger, and I think that's something to take into consideration.
Yeah, it certainly says something.
But she says, so it's cool that I see all kinds of cis folks riled up about their feelings being hurt if they find something other than they expected in someone's pants, where it could actually mean I'd get killed. Yeah, I think we need to take that into account here. The fact is that, for one thing, you're more. Think about this for a second. What percentage of the population is trans? It's vanishingly small. It can't be much. Maybe a percentage or so. Probably not even that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super, super small.
So what are the chances of you getting with a trans person anyway? And why would they fucking put themselves in that situation? I mean, who isn't terrified of being murdered? Why the fuck would you put yourself in that position anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, let me read something from Marissa McCool. We don't owe anyone anything. It seems to mostly come from people who are scared we might trap them into accidentally finding us attractive. We're not obligated to risk danger to sue citizen securities. We decide when we disclose it. They have no say in that, and if discomfort with this doesn't help the situation. So what I'm seeing, one more thing, Carla Lewis, who is a local trans person who I've met a couple of times, and it's awesome, says, will they kill me before or after sex? For real, until we start walking around nude with our goodie bags hanging out like fruit ripening in the sun. Two people are attracted to one another by any attribute other than genitalia. Genitalia should really be considered when two people are trying to determine how to get each other off. So what I'm seeing here is the fact that when you start dating somebody, what is the first thing? I mean, you're talking about lying. Somebody fucking brought up the fact that, well, there's a lot of guys who say they're fucking hung or, they're real good in bed. And then you get there and they fucking suck, right?
Yeah.
So how's that not being lied to? Are you going to kill the guy because you said that? And you
false
lied
advertising.
To you? Yeah.
Shit.
So, I mean, seriously, go fuck yourself with a rusty pipe. I have absolutely no fucking sympathy for that way of thinking at all. And the fact that people are going to this and not even considering the other side of it, to me, it's a lot of people, and I think it just goes to the bias in the society to a bi-gender, just two-gender binary. I don't think I think that's just the basis of it, and they don't even think about it any other way than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems to me like it's very. It's one thing if a person just, you get to know somebody, you get to relationship status where somebody tells you, okay, well, I'm a trans person, and you go, okay, well, that's not actually something that I'm interested in. I mean, I think there's still issues with that, but that's one thing. If you just say, okay, well, this is where we part ways. That's how adults deal with things. But there seems to be this ultra violent reaction towards trans people, and it's definitely disproportionate from my perspective, and
Don't you think
unjustifiable, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Well,
Sorry.
who the fuck is... Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to say that it seems as though this is a fear response, because this is something that comes from a place of fear, comes from a place of lack of understanding, that these people are saying. It's just like if a trans person doesn't tell me, it's like somebody having an STD and doesn't tell me. It's not the same thing.
No, being trans isn't a disease.
It's not a disease, but it seems like these people are just so fucking clueless. Just like I was listening to a documentary today about a gay retreat. It used to be a place for HIV positive individuals, but it turned into a gay retreat, and there was people there. They actually had a town hall meeting because there was people that were afraid that you could get AIDS from mosquitoes. And it's just, there's a complete lack of awareness on the part of these people that are just being fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's ignorance. I mean, and like so many things, it's just pure and simple ignorance.
Yeah.
Just look at America. You got your, you know.
Well, there's
do
stuff
I need to say any more?
But there's people like that in Saskatchewan, that like my father-in-law talking about how morally bankrupt homosexual people are. Just because they're attracted to members of the same gender as they are, they completely have zero morals. They swear. They have no moral compass whatsoever. They're just
Swear? What
Yeah.
the fuck?
People swear.
Yeah, I don't.
No,
believe it.
Well,
swear.
No.
It's certainly. I mean, I
So
think-
how many swears do you have to say before you turn gay?
That's a good question.
If that was a correlation, I'd be gay as
Yeah.
fuck.
I think I might have already crossed it.
Yeah.
I'm totally
And
gay.
I'd sure as hell get a lot more sex, to be honest with you. If I were gay.
I'm not guaranteeing that I would. I don't know for sure. No, that's pretty silly.
The whole thing is just ridiculous to me. And the reason I say that is because even if, I mean, think about it. I mean, the whole idea that you would go to it, anybody would go to the length of going through a whole rigmarole, going 5 or 6 dates, and then, oh, by the way, who the fuck's going to do that? I mean, considering the fact that they could literally be murdered for doing that shit, who the fuck would do that?
Yeah.
Well, and
I
why
mean,
are you with that person in the first place? Like, are you attracted to them? Like, what difference does it make? Like,
Well, that's a separate issue to me,
Do you
to
think
be
so?
honest with you.
How come?
Yeah, because I don't like penis, okay? And that's just not anything but a personal preference, That's
You just
because I'm a
prefer
cis.
innies.
Yeah, I just I like pussy. I mean,
That's fair. That's fair.
that not inherently there's nothing wrong. That's not the issue to me. What the issue is that people think that because they don't inform you of that fact right away, that somehow you're being dishonest with them. That is the issue with me. I mean, if I got to a point with somebody that we were going to have sex or something, and they, like it says in the article, I think a lot of people didn't even read the fucking article, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they reacted to the headline right away, right?
Yeah.
Because it was
and
a lot of it was.
It was a little clickbaity. I have to admit,
Yeah.
the title was a bit clickbaity, which, whatever, fair enough. But I mean, the article itself, like, look, they have it's a courtesy to tell somebody but even if you got to that point, and they're like, look, I have a penis instead of a vagina or whatever genitalia you're expecting. What are you going to do? I mean, are you really going to tell me if you were really attracted to this person in every other way,
Right.
then you're going to fucking just, oh my God, are you kidding me? I mean, no, you'd be like, look, I mean, think about that. I mean, think about how many people are cisheads have gotten into, and they started fucking, and I guess it's just not that good. We're just not compatible sexually, right?
Right.
How many times does that happen? So why is that any different than finding out somebody has different genitalia?
Or
why is that?
Yeah.
Why is that so much more of an issue? Because we have been trained that way. The binary has been drilled into us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a long while for us to fucking overcome that. It's not helping when you got ignorant ass motherfucking bigots fucking further in the narrative. But okay, I'm done.
Do you think it's like, you know, I meet a guy and he's super dreamy and he's super smart and shit, and it just turns out that he likes anal and I don't. Is it the same kind of a thing as that?
Maybe.
To me, I mean, it's a little more complicated than that. I mean, it's hard to, because you would have it another way though. That's what I mean, if he was only into that and you didn't like it, that's, you know, then you're not going to want to have sex with them at all, right?
But there's ways, like, I mean, ideally, it would be good for trans people to get to that point as a society when you meet somebody and find out they're trans, and it's kind of like just finding out that somebody doesn't like anal.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Just one less. Oh, okay. It's just, there's another way I can get you off. There's tons of ways I can satisfy you sexually, but this way, it's just off
the table.
I don't like period sex. Blah blah blah. Those kinds of things. It's just a preference thing.
But that would only occur if we could get past this reaction, this instinctive, almost this visceral reaction against, oh my God, this woman has and it's almost always that, you know, it's almost always the woman having a penis. You never hear about the other way around.
No, there were some people though. There was a trans man who gave birth to a child recently, this week, I believe, and there was a lot of fucking people up in arms. They were like, that is no man. There's no such thing as a man with a uterus. They were fucking butthurt.
Just stuck on their fucking
They need to be butthurt with a rusty motherfucking pipe.
They might. I don't know if you can change minds that way, though.
You know, I know, but it's almost a visceral reaction for me to say, go fuck yourself. Here, I got a beer bottle. Let's see what you can do with that motherfucker. But, you know, I've been drinking a little bit, so maybe I'm not quite as nice as I usually am.
I'm opposed to violence, but I'll fucking bottle you.
That's only theoretical. I wouldn't necessarily.
In theory, I would fucking bottle you.
Yeah.
In theory.
I find it an interesting subject because, frankly, there are a number of very attractive trans women in the world. And the fact that you can't tell they're trans necessarily right off the hop does not mean they tricked you into being attracted to them. And that's what people seem to be implying.
There's some kind of deception there.
Yeah, that's right. If you go on a date with an attractive woman and she doesn't say, I'm trans at the start of the date, well, she didn't trick you into dating her. Right? Like,
exactly. But it's so ingrained into us. Even I have this reaction like, oh my God, what the fuck? But I'm trying to, you know, it's like I'm honest enough with myself to realize that fucking indoctrination is there and try to overcome it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say like just it's almost because you're trained, man. It's hard to overcome some shit that you've been taught since you were fucking born, basically. that there are only two genders, and anybody who doesn't subscribe to those two particular genders are somehow, deceptive and, trying to get you to fuck them or whatever. I mean, it's difficult to overcome something like that.
Yeah.
So in a way, I can almost understand, but what I can understand is the violence aspect.
Right.
Yeah.
That is the thing that really fucks with me, because somebody on my feed sat there and said they were going to knock somebody's teeth in because of that.
Right.
And I said, you need to go fuck yourself and do it quickly. And I don't mean pleasant.
Yeah. Well, it's scary when you have a peace-loving person normally, and then all of a sudden they get to that point with what shouldn't necessarily be a violence issue. And I mean, I think maybe the deception, maybe because there's that complete and utter disgusting idea that trans people, because they're going into a different bathroom. I mean, Republicans have tried to and conservative people in Canada have tried to insinuate that trans people, they're going to, like, a trans woman is going to be a sexual predator in a woman's washroom. And it just it's
the sweet irony of that, considering the majority of the people who do that are straight guys.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's the wrong ones in the dress. I'm thinking they're thinking the Catholic priests.
Well,
exactly. Yeah, well, that's a whole different.
But and I think is it the deception? Like they feel deceived somehow.
I
like
think
there's like that element of trickery. Like
it's misogyny.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Well, I think like
It's
especially with
nothing
this
but internalized misogyny.
I think especially with this article, you're dealing with that whole idea alpha male, right? Like,
yeah.
Usually they're the ones that are going to be the ones that turn violent, right? Like this was a Marine, or picked up this. It's not in the article. I'm just going to assume. I know you're not supposed to assume, but let's assume he probably picked her up at a bar.
Was she
That's just it. I don't know. Let's not. I have no idea. That's not in the article. I have no idea.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
matter. It doesn't
matter.
matter. It doesn't matter. But I'm just saying because he's a Marine, probably picked her up, had fun, and then whoa, what the fuck, and then freak the fuck out because
because of whatever issues he's got.
Yeah, I'm a Marine. I can't be doing this.
Right.
Toxic masculinity combined with fucking internalized it's socialized misogyny, really.
Yeah.
Because if you're a guy and you assume the position of a woman, you're somehow lesser.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I don't know. it's.
Oh,
I absolutely fucking know.
Well,
I absolutely fucking know what's going on.
And women,
I'm sorry.
like in religion, we are told that women are, like, we're told to cover up. We're told to stay silent. We're told to not show our boobs or anything like that because we might tempt a man, and that's what this is as well.
Yeah, there's an element of that as well, isn't there?
There has to be.
There's a lot of toxic shit going on in something where you're murdering somebody, right?
Yeah.
And the reaction, the real problem in this whole thing, and I mean, I don't want to downplay the tragedy of a person losing their life because of the issues here, but the reaction by people in general is in the affirmative. Like, yeah, I'd kill the person too. Or like, and this is just, it's so fucked up. It's just so fucked up. There's so much socialized toxicity involved there. And I mean, I know I had a lot of back and forths on my Facebook feed this last couple of days discussing this, and it's
well, you dealt with people that you were accusing them of being transphobic, and they took
quite issue with that.
Like,
yeah,
how dare you?
I Okay, so I read. Okay, let me go ahead and tell you this right now, Cory. And you know I love you, but you could have. Okay,
But.
no, you didn't necessarily have to be, because fuck everybody. Whatever. That was the
Whole
last
point of the
segment.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last segment. But I'm saying let's bring it forward to this. I mean, I don't know. You could have clarified maybe a little better. Maybe. I mean,
yeah, that's a fair criticism.
But it was a visceral. I mean, it wasn't even a charitable. It's the principle of charity here. Taking the most favorable fucking interpretation of something somebody said, especially when you're Cory Johnson, the true neutral.
Yeah.
So let's not assume that he's going to be a fucking complete I'm sorry, that's a dickhead or whatever. But
yeah.
You just go out of it's like they fly off the fucking handle, like automatically. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand. It's this whole ingrained idea of, oh my God, I'm being tricked into looking at a penis, or looking at a vagina. I mean, it's just so, like I said, it's just so visceral that people just lose their minds. I do because sexuality is considered to be, of course, reproduction is like the most basic drive within humans, right?
Yeah.
So when you challenge that, I mean, you're basically challenging their very being, I guess. Kind of like religion.
Yeah. Yeah, there seem to be a lot of those types of things where people have them ingrained, and they just, any challenge to it at all is reacted to quite negatively.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think we've said just about everything we can about this one. Let's move on to the Woo Report.
I'm not a scientist, but if I can tell you your science sucks, then your science really sucks.
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Fuck.
All right, Angela. So now we've talked about it a little bit here and there. What is going on with What the Health?
It's a documentary that is hosted by some weirdos. They're humans, and they have ideas.
They're humans.
And Chris, have you seen this documentary?
I've heard of it. It's on Netflix. Well, no, I heard about it through you, I think.
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, and you can watch it if you are a masochist and if you want to torture yourself, please go for it. I initially, through my training with this personal trainer, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to look at it before Cory gave me the story. And I think because I posted about it, he gave me the story. But the trainer said, watch it. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to see what it's all about. And I got 45 minutes in. I was like, fuck this shit. And then I ended up watching the rest of it and swearing out loud at the gym because I was just completely and utterly I was livid. I was absolutely livid because it's alarmist and it's fear-mongering and it's completely one-sided. And
you should watch his other documentary, Cowspiracy.
Oh, I've actually seen that.
Have you?
Terrific. Oh yeah, I've seen Cowspiracy.
Same asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, this is one of the worst documentaries I've ever seen in my life. Is Michael Moore directing it? Sorry.
But this show, basically, What the Health talks about, the crux of it is that it talks about processed meat, red meat, chicken, dairy products, and fish being essentially the cause of cancer. It causes cancer. It causes all diseases. It causes heart disease. It causes diabetes. It causes this, and this. And it talks about if you eat eggs every day, it is like smoking 5 cigarettes a day. That's the comparison that they made. And they
wait, what did you say? 3 packs?
5 cigarettes per day. If you have 2 eggs every day, it is akin to having 5 cigarettes a day.
So I'm effectively having 10 cigarettes a day?
10 cigarettes a day.
Wow.
And cheese is almost as addictive as heroin.
Yes. That's right.
What is it about cheese that is so addictive?
Triggers a similar chemical in the brain. as heroin.
So
I don't believe you.
this article on sciencebasedmedicine.org is really good. It's so amazing. And after I got through 45 minutes of this show, I ended up going online, and I needed to balance out some things. And she talks about in the article, she talks about the Skepdoc's rule is before you accept a claim, try to find out who disagrees with it and why. So that, I think, is a really good rule of thumb.
I think if the fact that they had Steve-O as one of the testimonials,
Yeah.
that right
Isn't
there.
that a Jackass?
They did.
Yeah, the guy from Jackass. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was one of the guys in there as a testimonial.
Yeah.
Well, he's an authority about food health, isn't he?
Oh,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, they had a dude. They had a former NFL athlete. They had a guy that is in American Ninja Warrior, and they have to pick these recognizable people. And then they had those run of the mill Joe Blow dudes. They had the lady that had to use a walker. They had a guy who had like a number of different prescriptions. He had heart disease, etc. And then they had another woman who had respiratory issues, and she was severely overweight.
And all solved with after 2 weeks of going to a vegan.
After 2 weeks. 2 weeks of a vegan diet, halved medication, or was off all of medication because they went to this treatment center.
Hallelujah.
Yes. God. So it's what they don't understand. What they mislead you on is that the degree of, if you're in category 1 carcinogen, for example, it's based on strength of evidence. It's not based on the level of risk. The
WHO is not a good source for like determining how likely you are to get cancer.
Exactly. So it's just disgusting. Like they talk about, it's scary to me that there's so many people that are willingly swallowing this
and promoting
swallowing this.
Yes,
that's something somebody does.
Insert gag sounds here.
I rely on somebody willingly swallowing it, but anyway, go ahead.
Well, I mean, yeah, you want to have consent first before you shove that down anyone's throat.
Of course.
Definitely.
Or have a safe word.
Safe word. Poodle? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You came up with that awfully fast.
Choke. The movie Choke is really good. If you haven't seen the movie Choke, you really need to see it. Oh my God. So good. So, yeah, it's fascinating how, like, they call these people, they go on their websites, the American Diabetes Association, the American Cancer Society, they go to all these websites, and then they go to some anonymous pig farm, and they see all of the waste that's pumped into rivers and stuff, and then they just go to some random's house, and she says, well, all my family has cancer, and, he sprays on days when we're having cookouts, and they only have pig farms in black and Mexican neighborhoods, so they're bringing race into this too. They're not just bringing this into, like, it being a health issue that you need to be vegan, but it's also talking about, they talked about Big Pharma, they talked about the conspiracy of Big Pharma, and they talked about GMO and all that stuff too, and it joins the umbrella of all that stuff as though it's all big and evil, and they have these repeated scenes where they're cutting into pigs and there's like pus coming out of it.
Because they're talking
if
about
there's
the
pus coming out, then that's not.
Well, what they were trying to say is how that it started off with they're talking about processing of the meat, because they have to process them so fast.
Yeah.
That a lot of the.
Did you watch this?
Yeah, I did. I watched it. I also have seen Cowspiracy. I think it's
Rene likes
ridiculous.
to watch the worst of the worst.
Holy shit. I don't know if I should be.
He used to listen to Alex Jones for the lulls, I guess.
Yes, you did. That's right.
I tried that for a Glenn Beck. I was doing that for a while. I was
Really?
high.
Oh my god.
I mean, there was a point where I reached my limit and went, okay, enough of this shit. But the thing was, is they were doing it as, and like the problem is, just like with cowspiracies, there's just little glimmers of truth to it, just little smidgens.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is they were talking about how they were processing the animals so fast that a lot of the food handling isn't properly done. Like, and that's where the abscesses and stuff were coming in.
Yeah.
And there might be something to that, because, right, you know, when you're trying to, we got to up the profits and crank. And they're, you know, it's just like what they were showing with the spraying. It's just like, how many years ago was that? Like, there was that big outbreak of E. coli in spinach. And that was wise because they spray their farms with untreated fucking sewer water.
Right.
Because why? Well, it happened way back then. It's going to happen even more now with Mr. Trump and his fucking anti-EPA.
Deregulation.
That's
Is that they don't treat the water, and that's how you get E. coli, because the water's full of shit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing, is it's just like his cow spirit. Like, this guy must be an uber vegan, because everything has this vegan.
He feels better, and they also talked to an ultra athlete who did 5 Ironmans on each island of one on each island of Hawaii.
Yeah, which is whatever. But that's this thing, is I question this guy's motivation, because both Cowspiracy and this one is very fucking vegan, because Cowspiracy was all about climate change and how cow farts is pumping holes in the ozone, and you know that
methane is a greenhouse gas.
It is, and that's that was one of it, and deforestation of the rainforest and a bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
But
every lie has a seed of truth.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. Is there were certain little elements of truth to it, but most of it was utter bullshit.
Absolutely, and thank you for clarifying that.
No pun intended.
Yeah, the one.
Most of
they
them were
also
talking about
talked
pig shit, but
yeah, exactly. They also talked about how all protein originates with plants.
Well, that's true,
and that. You know, like, there's no, like, they're just...
There is something to the idea that eating your protein secondhand, like through meat rather than directly from plant sources, is less efficient. Like, because some of the protein and some of the energy is lost in the animal itself. Mm-hmm. And we can't create energy, we just recycle it.
Yeah.
Right? So there is something to that, but that doesn't necessarily validate what the message of this movie is.
Well, I mean, it was just like one of the other things they brought up, which was they were talking about how the teeth chew and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like going, you idiots. That's evolutionary biology.
Well, they had the carnivore and then the omnivore, or the omnivore and the vegetarian or something.
And it's
like
like
that.
you idiots. That's how evolutionary biology worked. Was when they discovered fire and they could cook the meat, they could get their nutrients that way. So they didn't need to have the big fucking carnivorous teeth. You dipshits.
Well, and we have other shit to do besides eating, because there's like the big, huge. Like the rhinoceri and the elephants.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Is that not is it rhinoceroses?
Not rhinoceroses.
I just got really an erection from you saying that.
That's going to be my safe word.
That seems a little bit difficult to say. Right?
Well, as long as you didn't get an erection eye.
Oh.
You know, several.
Oh, shit.
The other thing that I took issue with this was that he would call and talk to the receptionist. It also talks about this in the article. He called the American Diabetes Association and would talk to whoever he had on the line. Like, he wouldn't like try and find somebody first to talk with about something. He just needed to say the things so he could get the clip so he could put it in the documentary.
See, they're they're hiding the truth because they won't talk to me. No, it's because you're a fucking idiot.
Exactly.
They don't want to talk to idiots.
They realize that you're full of shit. And then also, I don't know if you looked at the end credits of Cowspiracy or What the Health, but you can tell that it's a Kickstarter or Indiegogo or something.
Yeah.
Like, they had countless people that had contributed monetarily to this documentary. And
Which
that was
in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing either, but it does speak to a certain amount of where they must have marketed it at vegan.
Yeah, it
social
questions the
media
motive. It
Whole
questions the motive.
Foods.
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing a documentary.
Didn't they have a former CEO of Whole Foods on there?
Is that right?
I can't remember.
No.
Yeah.
No?
No, just no.
No?
No, I'm just saying, don't listen to any. Why would you listen to anything that fuckstick says?
Yeah. Fuck, eh?
Fuck stick.
That's one of my favorite words. Douche pickle. I like douche.
Douche canoe is also very good.
All right, I'm going to move on to dogs with autism.
I'm sorry. What the fuck did you just say?
Well,
dogs with autism.
Technically, they don't have autism yet because their owners don't want to vaccinate.
I'm done with you tonight. I can't do it anymore. Y'all are killing me. I don't know what you're taking and smoking in Canada, but I need to get some of that.
Well, this story came out of Brooklyn, New York. Some veterinarians reported an increasing number of anti-vaxxer pet owners who say they're worried that vaccinations will harm their dogs. A Dr. Amy Ford from a clinic in Brooklyn told the Brooklyn Paper, yeah, it's called the Brooklyn Paper, we do a higher number of clients. We see a higher number of clients who don't want to vaccinate their animals.
God damn. I thought this was only in California they were doing this.
Nope.
No.
It's spreading.
Well, one of the kind of bullet points is one vet said the trend was more common in hipster areas of Brooklyn.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Those fucking hipsters.
Goddamn hipsters.
Contaminate everything.
Yes.
One of the veterinarians interviewed says that they've never ever diagnosed a dog with autism, and I don't think you could, because how the fuck would you know?
Exactly.
Like, really, how the fuck would you know if a dog has autism?
I don't know. I don't even have anything to say right now. I'm dumbfounded.
There's not much to say.
mind you, there are people that try to put their cats on vegan diet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kills them, literally.
Yeah, literally kills them. Cats are fucking carnivores.
Yeah.
That makes me so angry when they do that shit.
Unvaccinated dogs are vulnerable to a number of diseases. They could get distemper, hepatitis, rabies, or a disease called leptospirosis, which is a bacterial infection which is vaccine preventable that is carried by rats and spread to dogs and then to humans who can then, and it's fatal in dogs, and then in humans it can cause liver failure, respiratory problems, meningitis, and sometimes death.
This is what's going to end up causing The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
right.
a vaccine. It's going to be people not vaccinating.
Yeah, it's going to be anti-vaxxers fucking just letting whatever diseases they want run wild.
And that's when you fucking quarantine their motherfucking.
Yeah, that's right.
That's when they're going to come to. It's going to come to that. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm not even kidding. It's
just round them all up, put the anti-vaxxers on that fucking island.
Yeah. Tell them to go on the plastic island in the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the floating
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, why not? Get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's plenty big
Gwyneth
enough.
Paltrow can be their queen.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe we'll just go live on that.
Eventually, the people who are smart are going to be the minority. The way things are going.
You might as well move to Kansas right now because that's going to be the only thing that's like not underwater, probably. So
Kansas. Oh, things aren't good in Kansas. I have family in Kansas.
If you move enough people there, it will become good. That's all I'm
where's
saying.
the high spots?
That's what I'm saying. Well, it's all flat in Canada, but it's literally in the middle of the country.
Our above sea level isn't great, even though we're in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking we could go to Kansas. They still have that fucking ark.
that's Kentucky.
Is that Kentucky? I thought that was
Kentucky.
Kansas.
God damn it, fucking Canadians!
They were
Get
going
your
to...
goddamn geography right, man.
Right?
Even though we can't.
Where's Winnipeg?
Yeah.
Manitoba in the middle of fucking.
See?
He actually knows that.
Yeah.
There you go.
He knows Winnipeg's the asshole of Canada.
I've seen only because our ex-coach of the Predators is from there, Barry Trotz. That's from Winnipeg. So.
See, he's a U.S. hockey
They got
fan.
the Jets.
Oh, okay.
Some people are hockey fans.
Some people, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I've seen it. It's like, God damn, how do people survive there?
In Winnipeg? I like that place. I like going there. I don't care what people say.
Have you been pegged in Winnipeg? Huh?
Pegged?
Pegged in Winnipeg?
Hang on.
I have to think about that.
If you can't remember it, it wasn't worth.
I was going to say, if you can't remember it, no, that's not true necessarily.
Yeah.
If you were drunk,
No, I don't think, because that's like Mennonite country. That's where my family lives.
Really? Serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
My great-grandpa founded the Mennonite Heritage Village. It's just south of Winnipeg.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yes.
The food is fucking good. Don't even get me started.
Hey, well, that's fine. I mean, I have no problem with that.
Right.
There's plenty of Mennonites down here in
There are.
Tennessee and Kentucky. Actually.
And Kansas and Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all over.
It's a scourge.
All right.
Herpes.
Let's go to a quick 10:50 p.m. ad break, and we will come back with some religious nuttery.
Y'all have ads?
Yeah, we play ads because we're live.
If you like what we're doing and want to help us keep the lights on, go become a patron at patreon.com/brainstorm podcast. You can hear the bonus half hour that we record every episode and get a shout out when you support the show. Become a patron for just $1 an episode at patreon.com/brainstorm podcast. Or you can support the show by ordering a t-shirt, mug or other gear from our store at caffeepress.ca/brainstorm podcast gear. If you can't afford to become a patron or buy gear, then why not give us a rating or write a review on iTunes or Stitcher? Every rating makes it easier for people to find us. Thanks for your support.
We are given one life, full of billions of small and large decisions. To be somebody, to change, to be kind, to give hope, to become a better person, and to leave a lasting impact on this planet. It is a decision to be made every single day while your heart is still beating. We've made our decision. Absence of Clothing, atheist and science-based apparel and merchandise, donating 50% of our profits to charity. Look good and feel good, without God. Check us out at absenceofclothing.com and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest for discount codes and other sweet swag.
Use the code BRAINSTORM at absenceofclothing.com and get 10% off.
This podcast is awesome. I love how they've used the word fuck for every part of the English language. Didn't miss one. But if you really love the pervasive use of the word fuck like I do, when you finish up here, you should head over to my podcast, Unbuckling the Bible Belt. You'll get to hear me, Sharon Bush, and my co-host, Joe Kiddick, fuck each other to death. Wait, that didn't come out right.
I think we're back.
That ad kind of
it ends abruptly.
Very abruptly.
Okay, yeah. So
Pay attention.
yeah, that promo you just played.
Yep.
She's not even on there anymore. So you need to go ahead and just get rid of that one. What you need to do is play the Podunk Polymath podcast intro promo.
Well, I have a rotation C, and I think that yours is either coming up or it's already been played.
You know what, Corey?
Only love. Come on. The skeptic movement needs lots of love.
I got lots of love to give, baby. Don't worry about that.
Love and sex.
Damn. All right. Let's play a bumper for Religious Nuttery.
Cornerstone, this might be new to some of you. Scripture says that even our righteous deeds are as filthy rags to God. So even the good things that you do, even things like feeding the hungry and clothing the poor and taking in widows and orphans, as nice as those things are, if not done from the place of obedience to and a relationship with God, are completely worthless and disgusting to God. If you're not daily walking in a place of relationship to God, then the news that we have to bring you is that you're on your way to hell right now.
Yeah, Rene.
Who the fuck said that?
It's from a heavy metal concert from the documentary Christ Core.
I don't even want to know, honestly.
It's about the metalcore and hardcore scene, but it's super religious side of it.
That scares me. But anyway.
Oh, it gets even scarier. Look up white metal.
Yeah, white metal. Although some of that is fucking awesome music.
Okay.
Destroy the Runner
on that.
Destroy the Runner is fucking pretty awesome stuff. Or Demon Hunter.
I don't mind Demon Hunter, but whatever.
I can't listen to it anymore because of the message, but Jesus Christ, I used to love that shit.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Man, I still love Striper, even though it's total fucking Striper. Total fucking keys.
No, what is wrong with you? No.
You are not qualified, and we do not have the time to go through that.
Oh, okay.
The easy answer is that Rene likes the hair metal.
You can like hair metal without liking fucking Striper.
It's the cheese factor. It's the cheese factor. It's entertaining. Anyway, this article Cory gave to me on the last minute, so I only sort of read it. Anyway, apparently they have, with the Bible saying that they destroyed the Canaanites, but apparently they've done DNA testing in the area and found not true. They have traced DNA in many people in Lebanon.
Yeah.
So surprise, surprise. Science proves the Bible wrong yet again.
So the Bible said that they were going to get rid of all the Canaanites?
Yeah.
They did get rid
of it.
They didn't.
Unequivocally. But
and they
the Bible
absolutely did not.
Yeah.
The Bible's not true?
Yeah, well, at least in this.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on a second. It's not true?
So they say. Yeah. I guess we're atheists now.
Well,
I was a believer before that we started. Now, not so much.
Shit, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not much to
just collapsed around you.
Yeah. I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
So basically, there's a quote right here. Based on the study, it turns out that the people who lived in Lebanon almost 4,000 years ago were quite similar to the people who live there today, to the modern Lebanese. So, in other words, they weren't wiped out as said in the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just not news to me. I mean, that's like, I'm sorry.
Well, I guess
they've
it's
disproven
news.
so many biblical myths up to that. I'm like the whole idea of the fucking Jews being driven out of Egypt.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is absolutely no evidence of that at all. And you think that many people were driven out, they'd have some sort of fucking evidence of that shit. There's
especially
not,
with the amount of time it took them to get across.
40 years. I mean, come on. What are you doing for 40 fucking years? Seriously.
Camping. Just camping.
Eating manna. from heaven.
I mean,
yeah.
It's not that far.
If we're going with the stereotypical Jew, wouldn't you think there'd be someone in the back? Will you just ask for some fucking directions?
God damn it! I know where I'm going. Yes.
That's a man.
Yeah. Shut up, Janice.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, and the flood didn't actually happen too. So there's another nail in the coffin.
God damn it! Fuck.
I was sure that was true.
I was convinced.
So they built that $100 million boat for nothing?
For nothing.
For nothing.
Did you know that the first person who built an ark was like 900 years old?
Methuselah got to like 969.
That sounds plausible. That sounds plausible.
Heavy on the 69, I guess.
Oh, hello. Somebody's a little randy tonight.
No.
Oh, I didn't say. I never said I wasn't.
You pretty much started off your guest appearance on our podcast making gagging sounds as though somebody was.
Well, I did. Like I said, I never claimed I was an angel. Sorry, that was.
It's more fun being the other thing, anyways. So the Canaanites still exist.
So technically, they still exist.
Cool.
That's another nail in the coffin. Somebody tried to tell me on Instagram that there's no God doesn't have any contradictions. He's not a hypocrite.
Yes.
There's people.
Whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And there's no contradictions in the Bible.
Nope, that's
None.
right. And it's perfectly clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that I interpret it is exactly how it's meant.
Yeah. Yep. Humans interpret
what it looks
the
like.
teachings.
That's how it is.
Humans interpret the teachings to benefit themselves. This is where the contradiction lies. It's not in the actual word. It's in the interpretation.
Stupid humans.
Fucking humans.
Oh, Angela, I just wanted to. I shouldn't have called you sweetheart. I apologize.
It's okay. The last person that called me princess, well, I don't know if
that
we should
didn't
talk
go well.
about that. Didn't go very well. I think I broke
Rather
his spirit.
sexist of me, so I need to go ahead.
I forgive you.
All right. Angela, you also have a religious story.
I have a religious story too. Yeah. So apparently there's a place that's discriminating against non-white, non-religious people. And it's the Bayview Association of the United Methodist Church in Michigan. Back in 1942, they had made a rule that you had to be white and Christian to own a cottage on their property. And they later dropped the white requirement, but kept the Christian part. And then they had a 10% Catholic rule that you could only be 10. Like,
the world should have a 10%.
the property, like
no more
they
than
couldn't
10%.
have 11% Catholic ownership. Nope. There was a person who actually had to sell his property because
no way
because he was Catholic.
Because he crossed the line. What if you convert?
How is that legal?
It's not. It can't be, right?
Well, apparently, prospective buyers have to provide a letter from their pastor. And there's a lawsuit against these people by the Bayview Chautauqua Inclusiveness Group. They're saying that exactly.
Yeah, I'm
That's what they said.
They're guilty of violating the First Amendment. And their argument is that Bayview pays taxes, so technically it's not church property.
Yeah, see, the
they
First
pay
Amendment
taxes.
doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it sucks because there was one client that was denied ownership of their 4th generation cottage because she had converted to Judaism.
Oh,
right.
Well, go fuck yourself. How was that
Right.
even? No.
So conversion matters. So if you became an atheist, they would force you to sell it.
Though?
Yeah.
How do you prove that?
Well,
you can't.
I mean, it's like you get a fucking certificate. I am now a Jew. Hey, look at there.
Can you,
you can't.
can you feel the wind though? Can you feel the wind? Can you feel love?
I feel like I'm missing something here.
That's all the article fucking said. That's all it said. I just gave you the important points. I'm just being terrible and asking you if you can feel the wind.
But I don't understand
gravity.
Without God.
Because some people like to prove God by saying, well, you could feel the wind, can't you?
You can't see it.
You can't see it, but you know it's there.
That.
You haven't? Oh, you should let Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door and try to.
I would rather.
Love is real.
Love's real. Psha. Huh. So there.
I just know some people are like, "Hey, come on in, let me debate with you." Fuck that shit. I don't have
I stopped
the
a bunch of Mormons one time at
you?
Because I was hungover, just really hungover, and I just opened the door, and there's just, they're standing there with their nice little name tags and their white shirts, and hi, can you talk about Jesus? I'm just like, no.
Nope.
I'm like, no. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm the wrong guy to even no.
I never answer the door. That's my solution.
I always want them to come in for coffee. I'd love that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Some people are like that. Cory's obviously not terribly intelligent.
Oh, harsh words.
Burn.
I'm thinking more the subtle burn of the bringing in Mormons in for coffee. Here you go. Here's Satan's Java.
You can have the cola, but you can't have the coffee. Hey, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
You're not technically not supposed to have the cola.
I've seen them walk up my road before, actually.
Yeah.
You probably have a black X over your house, though.
No, it's like in this area, it's like super like Christian shit or whatever. And this road doesn't have sidewalks. And I've thought several times of, swerving and making them dive in the ditch. But,
yeah.
I never actually did it because I'm
Hong Kong.
Didn't even look like he slowed down. Oh, the humanity. Yes.
Oh, no. Sorry.
I think we're done for the night. So we don't have any listener feedback. If you want to chat, nobody likes us. No. If you want to chat, then you can follow us on Twitter at BrainstormPod. Follow our page, Facebook.com/BrainstormPodcast, or join our discussion group, the Brainstorm Podcast Discussion Group. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
We talk about stuff.
Sometimes we share news articles and whatnot.
Usually it's just stupid shit.
Or you can mail us. You can email us at mail@brainstormblog.net.
Oh, I thought you were talking snail mail.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We don't have a P.O. box. I should get a P.O. box.
Why?
No,
you really...
It's just for fun.
Okay, well.
As long as it doesn't cost much. I waste a lot of money on the show as it is.
I don't think it costs too much.
As for Patreon, we lost a patron, but we gained one as well.
Oh.
Fuck them.
Well,
sorry.
People have different reasons for
I know, but still fuck them.
Just
like you, Cory.
just sticking with the theme of the evening.
He's sticking with the theme. I gotta appreciate the dedication.
That's just my theme. That's nothing with your show.
That's his life theme.
That's his life mantra.
How fortuitous that you came onto this particular show.
Yeah, that's right.
I think God planned that.
I will drive up to Saskatchewan.
With your tiny house.
As for our patron, thanks, Alden, for becoming a new patron.
Yes, thank you.
I sent out a message to all our patrons near the end of July, letting them know about the change in the pay schedule, the charging schedule for the show.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody should know. If you want to set a limit for your monthly charge, let me know and I'll help you figure it out. It's not too difficult, but so thanks to everyone who continues their patronage. We appreciate it. If you want tons of extra content that nobody else gets, including exclusive content every month for $5 and up patrons, our Patreon page is patreon.com/brainstormpodcast. We got a review from Aaron_YLW. I think I know who that is.
Aaron or
Aaron.
Aaron.
Yeah,
Okay.
You done fucked up, Aaron.
They gave us 5 stars and said, Brainstorm is a Category 5 hurricane, leaving no woo standing in its path.
Oh!
When I listen, I don't get as much work done, and that's a compliment.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. Aaron.
Aaron.
And we started doing reviews and ratings on our Facebook page.
I noticed that.
So you can give us 5 stars on Facebook.
Oh, you're fucked.
5 stars. You gonna
so
you gonna troll our Facebook page? Come on.
I would never do such a thing.
No. You will not.
Dan gave us 5 stars on Facebook.
Thanks, Dan.
Some of the most logical folks I've ever had the pleasure of listening to.
Oh, someone's lying.
Constantly checking and rechecking biases to make sure they aren't getting stale. Very entertaining. And of course, Gayleen from Saskatoon, she gave us 5 stars because she loves us.
What?
From Saskatoon.
I don't even know what you're saying.
5 stars. Saskatoon?
No, Saskatoon. Is that like bless you? What's going on here?
No, Saskatoon is the city about 2.5 hours north of Regina.
It's Regina.
No, it rhymes with vagina.
No, exactly.
It's the
Every
city
time I
that
hear
rhymes with
I'm thinking
fun.
vagina.
Vagina. When I went to the States back in '96, they were asked me where I lived. I was like, I live in Regina. They totally thought I said vagina.
Exactly. Every time I hear that, vagina.
These were churchy folks, so they were like,
you can't say
that
vagina.
word.
I love vagina. I love it. Anyway, go ahead.
But Kayleen gave us 5 stars. She says, this is a fun group. They cover several of my favorite topics like skepticism, science, and atheism, including current events that reaffirm my atheism. Thanks for what you do.
You're
welcome, Gayleen.
We love doing it.
We love doing it hard and fast.
Remember that if you give us a rating and a review, it really helps the show out, and we'll read it on the air. Yeah, so go do that.
Yeah,
and also share the show with your friends. I think that's kind of one of those things that not enough people do. Plug your stuff. Nobody?
No.
Chris, you have a show.
Okay, so you didn't mention, or I shall mention now because you said you were going to, but you never did, that the first interview I ever did was with y'all.
Right.
Y'all were the first show that I was on.
After he started the Podunk Polymath.
I didn't realize that was the first one.
Yep. In September 6th, I believe, so it's been nearly a year. And my year, the Podunkiversary, 1 year Podunkiversary is coming up August 12th. August 12th will be I'm doing a live show for my 1 year anniversary.
We might not have been the first.
No, you were the first.
I think you were on Angry Black Rant before you were on us.
That doesn't count. Well, I mean, does it?
It might.
I don't. Was I on there? I think. I'm gonna have to look now, but fuck that. No.
Yeah, give us.
I've already
the credit.
started
That's
it
fine.
now. Fuck it.
Give us the credit.
No, but it was at least one of the first ones that invited me on their show, I guess. And I really want to thank y'all for doing that. I mean, it means a lot. It means a lot that y'all have been there from the beginning. And I hope that any of your listeners, actually, Saskatchewan is one of the biggest upload areas for my show.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's because we can relate to your backwoods mentality.
I was going to say. So I want to thank all your listeners, all 10 of them. Whatever. There's like a population of like 50 in that fucking province or whatever.
Ish. 51, 52, somewhere in there.
Give or take.
It goes up and above and below.
I want to.
Depends if the riders are playing or not.
Yeah.
Oh, the Rough Riders. Yeah.
Well, they don't have very many drinking fountains, so there might not be that many left after the next couple of games if it stays this hot.
Canadian football is not a real thing. But anyway.
Our balls are bigger.
Oh, hello, McFly.
But anyway,
Thank you, and okay, podunkpolymath.com, at Podunk Polymath on Twitter, Facebook, the Podunk Polymath, and if you want to email me, podunk.polymath@gmail.com. Somebody call my goddamn calling line.
Yeah, you have a phone number.
378 Popo 7676. Nobody ever fucking calls it.
615-37. What was it?
378 Popo 7676.
615-378 Popo.
That's right. Don't get jealous.
Now, should we just leave a message?
Oh yeah, leave that message. I want you to leave Angela, actually, I want you to leave like a sexy message. Anyway, no.
Should I just read Dr. Seuss to you? Green eggs and ham.
Yeah, actually, that would be funny as fuck.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
But no, seriously, y'all. If you have a chance, go listen to my 1 year show next Saturday. So.
Excellent. So, is it going to be live?
Yep, live with Zach from Zacrilege Cast.
Oh, brill.
Where will that be available?
It will be available at youtube.com/thepodunkpolymath. It's a live thing from YouTube. So, and if you want to call in, or well, technically it's not calling, I guess. Go to Google Hangouts and go to that. However, I'm going to send a link out. You can do the link thing, and you can click on the link. And if I deem you cool enough, I will let you come in.
Perfect.
Oh.
I might be driving or something at that time, or on the road or whatever, but I will definitely try to listen.
I could literally not know who the fuck you were.
If you try to call in, you will get approved. Is that what you're saying?
You are the most Canadian motherfucker ever.
You don't know all of us. You don't know
Thornton's? Do you go to Thornton's or not Thornton's? What's the name of that goddamn place?
Going out for a rip?
I don't even know what you're saying right now. What's the name of that goddamn convenience store up there?
7-Eleven?
No, goddamn it. The one everybody talks about.
Tim Hortons?
Yeah, that's it. Tim Hortons. Yeah.
That's a donut coffee shop.
We're infiltrating your territory.
Yeah, we're moving down there. Tim Hortons is down in the U.S.
Apparently, they opened one up in Scotland too.
Oh, nice, nice.
Shit.
Scotland.
I'll have a double.
Shite.
Canadians are taking over the world.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Nova Scotia means New Scotland in Latin.
It's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Good work.
You're welcome.
The more you know.
Thanks for that little tidbit.
Yeah, they teach us that in grade 1.
Oh, fuck you.
It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast tonight, Chris.
Well, it's been a pleasure being on, Angela.
Okay. I'm going to plug my other show.
Do it.
I put out episode 9 of the Hardcore Skeptic Examines, and in this one I talked to Donna Barker about implicit bias.
Ooh.
I'm a patron of that.
Yes, Chris is one of my 3 patrons for that show.
Wow. Talk about supportive skeptic community here.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Eat your heart out, Sam Harris.
Take
Peter
that.
Boghossian.
Suck
it!
You can find that at Spreaker.com/show/the Hardcore Skeptic Examines. Let's cue that outro music.
Oh, it's coming.
There we go.
It just needs time to get ready.
Yeah.
Now, when you're older, that's what happens.
Yeah, takes a minute.
So you can check out the show notes at thebrainstormbloggpodcast.com or our website, brainstormblog.net. Thanks to our financial supporters, Will, Lisa, Rob, Aaron, Nathan, Daryl, Stephanie, Positively Skeptical, Michael, Lachlan, Magnus, and now Alden. You can join us live every second week when we broadcast live on Spreaker. You can find us at Spreaker.com/user/brainstormpodcast. Our next guest is Will D. our biggest patron and honorary member of the crew. Thanks, Chris, for joining us.
You're welcome.
You can find out more about his podcast at thepodunkpolymath.com. I'll put a link in the show notes. Thanks, Dave, for our intro music. Thanks to Alex Capper-Murdoch for doing the voiceover for the intro and some of our ads. And thanks to Jason Camo for our outro music. You can find his stuff at aloststateofmind.com. All music played is either with permission or under the SOCAN license to play. For more information on SOCAN, you can check out the music license info page on our website, brainstormblog.net. I think that's everything, so give us a rating, a thumbs up, or a fave on your podcatcher of choice. Join our Facebook group, like our page, follow us on Twitter, share the show, and spread the word. And remember, the truth matters.
Oh, yeah.
This is an opinion-based podcast. Each person on the podcast is responsible for their own opinions, and those opinions don't necessarily reflect the views of the rest of the panel. Any guests or anyone associated with the people on the podcast, such as spouses, partners, children, other family members, friends, or employers. No one person speaks for the podcast with the possible exception of Cory, and he doesn't speak for anyone else on the show. The Brainstorm podcast does not represent the views of our sponsors.
We just wanted to say thanks to everyone who listens to us, shares the show, gives us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher, or supports us through Patreon and Gumroad. We don't have a lot of interaction sometimes with our listeners, but what we have had proves that we attract some of the best people around. Smart, kind, and cool. An audience truly worthy of the titles hardcore and woo-free. Thanks for helping us make the world a smarter place.